Think of it this way, there's two types of motivation in life. There's push motivation where you're trying to make yourself do something, and all of you in this room, around the world, but there's a limit. There's a limit to willpower, no matter how much you have. And when you're most exhausted and tired, you notice your willpower may not feel as strong. So the other kind of motivation is not push, it's called pull. Pull is there's something you want so badly, you feel pulled towards it. And pull has this lasting effect that you can never get with push. So I said, okay, if I want to get that, I need a result that's really, that person's after, that's compelling. It needs to be really clear. It needs to be clear, it needs to be compelling. It can't be general. I want to make more money. Fine, here's $1, get out of here. Unconsciously, you've already achieved the goal. I want to lose some weight. You lose a pound, you've done it. So I got to get people to be much more clear on the results and make them so compelling that they're going to want to behave a different way. But what's going to actually determine your behavior? It's going to be the state you're in. So your mental, emotional state, if you're in a pissed off state, are you going to behave the same way as if you're feeling playful? Yes or no? Of course not. You know that. You could, but you won't. Because our behavior, our actions are shaped by our state. So the biggest mistake most of us make is we're trying to get ourselves to do something to get a new result, but we're not in the right state. So you see this all the time. Someone say, I know, I need to lose weight. I need to get an exercise program. I need a diet. I'm tired of wearing pants. Is it going to happen? Not in a million years. Why? You know why? Because they're not in the right state. But have you ever been, how many have been in something where you didn't do it, and got mad at yourself till one day it's like another day, not another hour, I'm changing this now, and you took massive action. What was that? That was a different state. It would have been a state of resolve. You made it what we call a threshold state. Happens in a relationship. You keep rationalizing, it'll get better, and then one day finally go, it's been painful in the past, the present, the future, I'm out of here. And it changes in an instant when it wouldn't before. Or you've been gaining weight for a while and one day finally, I'm tired of this. I'm going on a fast for the next 10 days, nothing but water. About noon the first day, you're going, juice is good for you. 2 hours later, salad's good. By the end of the afternoon, burger and fries is not so bad, right? But here's the truth. Which is easier to do, diet or fast after the first day? First of all, the first day, it's mental. You think it's physical, but it's mental. Maybe the second day, worst case, 2.5 days. By day 3, what happens? What do you feel like on that third day with no food in your system? Yeah, like a massive amount of energy. None of it is tied down with this digestion. None of it is breaking us down anymore. Well, by the way, why is it easier to fast? Because there's no mental negotiation. It's like when you're dieting, well, could I have this? What about this? So there's all this temptation when you fast, and nothing, water, right? You don't even negotiate. You're in a state of resolve when you fast. And when you're in a state of resolve, you will have radically different behaviors. And those radically different behaviors can produce radically better results. So, and we all know how to manage our state. What are the two primary ways we can manage our state? Number one, a radical change in your physiology, the way you move, the way you breathe. You got to do that with your time as well. If you're just sitting there doing these things, stressed out, you need to get up and change your state. But the other way we can do it instantly is changing our focus. Remind yourself, focus equals feeling. Whatever you focus on, you're gonna feel it. Even if it's not true, you're gonna feel it. So you gotta make sure you're focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. You know, people think about driving a car and they don't think it's much of a sport, but if you ever driven a race car at 125, 135, 145, I've driven one at 235 miles an hour, every muscle in your body locks it, because it takes more focus than anything. Every energy is there, it's pure adrenaline. Racing school, they put me in a race car, and I'm working with Bob Bondurant. He had Bondurant Training School. He was a really brilliant guy. And he says, I'm gonna show you what a car can do. And I'll never forget getting this car. I'm in the passenger seat. I'm locked in, I got my helmet on. And he made that car do things I knew for sure were gonna crash. We were at Laguna Seca, if you're not familiar with that, in San Francisco area. It has what's called a corkscrew, where you're going straight at a wall. And he was going 125 miles an hour straight at the wall and then whipped around it. I mean, you know you're gonna die. And you're going so fast and you're just barely feels like missing what's going on, just the edges of what you're gonna hit. And we did the whole thing and he stopped, braked, my heart's beating out of my chest. And he looks at me and goes, and you'll be doing that in 4 days. I'm gonna put you in a spin car. You're the metaphor fresh, thinking about your time and your life. What's a spin car? Well, I'm gonna have you drive the car, and as you're driving, there's 4 buttons here on my side. You're sitting there, you can see them now, but you won't be able to see them when you're driving. I said, oh yeah, I do see those. He goes, if I push any one of those 4, it picks up one of the 4 wheels. It lifts it off and will spin out of control in that direction. He goes, you see that wall? I said, yeah. He goes, if we hit it, one of 2 things happen. We damage the car and you gotta pay for it, or we damage each other, which would be a much more painful and horrible experience. He goes, so you need to succeed. And yet I'm still gonna push you, and I don't have a brake here and I don't have a wheel. You're in charge. He goes, so you're gonna focus, but what's gonna happen, I'll watch and I'll know the moment you lose concentration, and when you do that, I'm gonna hit the button and we're gonna spin out of control, and your job is come out of a spin. And what a great metaphor for life. So I said, what's the secret? He goes, it's so simple. Focus on where you want to go, not on what you fear. That's a simple principle. Once again, I have cognitive mastery at this point. You guys remember this? I understand, and therefore I think I know. How do I know? Because we get in the car, and for me it's a competition. I don't know about you guys, but like, he's not gonna take me. I'm doing this thing, man. We get to 100, 110, 120, and like I'm focused. But does the universe ever push the button when you're ready? No, it always waits till you're not ready. That's what makes us grow. So I'm like, and you keep going. There's like, no matter how hard you try, there's a point you'll just lose a little focus. He saw it, pushes the button, we start spinning out of control. So immediately, where does your face go? Where does everybody go? Straight at the wall. That's why, if you've ever heard about a person driving their brand new Porsche down a country road, and there's like one telephone pole every quarter of a mile, and they lose control and hit the pole. How in the hell do they hit the pole? Because when losing control, what do? They go, oh, I don't want to hit that. And whatever you focus on, you unconsciously steer towards. I'm going to say that again, because it's for life. Whatever you focus on, you unconsciously steer towards. What do most people focus on? What they want or what they fear? What they fear. And what do people fear? Losing what they have or not getting what they want. When you start doing things right, do you instantly get rewarded? Yes or no? Not usually. There's usually something called lag time, L-A-G, lag time. Because you have so much momentum that even though you're doing the right thing, it doesn't correct instantly. It's like when people go, I've been on a diet for 4 days, I haven't lost any weight. Well, you've been a pig for 40 years, what do you think? And maybe we need to do this a little longer than a couple of days, right? That's what mastery is. What do we have to do? It's the repetition. Oh, it's not enough to understand it. I understood I shouldn't look at the wall. You're gonna understand you shouldn't keep asking yourself, what should I do? But it's your habit for a lifetime. So we gotta break those habits, and it's gonna take repetition, just like a great athlete, to master this part of your life. And so we're gonna give it a weekend, but then you wanna make it a daily practice. And by the way, it's a really easy daily practice. It's mostly a weekly practice and then a little bit each day. But the bottom line is, after we've done this about a dozen times, what starts to kick in finally? Because there's so much emotion while you're learning on this one, high levels of emotion, like information without emotion is barely retained. But information with a lot of emotion and repetition is absolutely retained. And so sure enough, we did it a dozen or so times, and now he pushes the button, and what do? I instantly focus on where I want to go, and I don't look back. Now you still feel it, but keep focusing, and sure enough, it catches. And after a while, you're so rewarded for the new behavior, you not only don't have the pain, you have the pleasure, that now it's just you want to go there. There's no hesitancy, and you develop a new habit. And so now I can do the spin car and go, and then all of a sudden I could go faster, and I could do more. Because everyone, even if you're the best driver in the world, you're gonna go in a spin. You know why? Somebody's car is gonna break up in front of you. There's gonna be an oil spot you can't see. There's gonna be some debris. That's life. So our goal is not that we don't go in a spin. It's not that you don't, one day don't do this well or you drop it out. It's like you get right back on the horse and you do it again and you master it and you master it and you master it until after a while, you'll be that great. But notice the greatest in the world keep practicing what they're already great at. They're practicing 100 million times more than they're actually taking the shot. But that's how they're best in the world. We want to be the best in the world at managing our lives. Who's with me on this? Say I.